Been a week, to say the least, for Nvidia. So we just showed it, obviously, this multi-day run, better than 11% now on the week. Good enough that you bought more.
Yeah, like the teaser this morning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Kevin's it. Kevin's the one. He's the one who bought more Nvidia. I did tease it on the 9 with,
everyone thought it was
with
me.
CQ. So tell me why. That was you? Everybody knew. They looked at who was on today. They're like, a process of elimination. They're like, all right, first one with the Sharpie. No. All right, why?
Well, they are paying a dividend now, so I think it's worth consideration. But this is the OG, and it is the one stock that has continued to just make more and more and more money every single day, but not have the love from a share price perspective. So I made the analogy. I was like, in the old days from technology, everyone needed electricity, you needed the internet. And now it's a question where how much AI does every company need? How much are they spending? And they just go up and down the stack where they are the primary player in this space. This is not a trade. This is an investment. I could go through all of the financials as to why we love the stock, but we bought more at 218. We're going to own it for a long time. I think the numbers are going to be great, but I wanted to get into it before earnings, Scott, real quickly, because they tend to report so late that you get a lot of the action from all of the other players beforehand.
We're still 2 weeks away, I think, right? Aren't we the week of, it's like the 26th,
at least 2
something
weeks.
like that? Yeah. So your point's well taken. Just try. I mean, they are the last of the biggest stocks in the market to report.
And I think the report's going to be awesome, but I think the move's going to happen beforehand.
What do you think about the move?
Well, I like it because obviously I just bought it for the first time ever. But I will say I have owned Broadcom, so I've been very pleased with that. I bought it really because of valuation. You know, it's trading at a valuation that they haven't seen since 2019 at 18 times. It's actually cheaper than Colgate or Hershey or any of the staples companies that are getting like 3% organic growth. This company just posted 85% total revenue growth year over year, and I think the visibility is outstanding given the backlog that they have.
You hope, right? You hope that the earnings.
I think
you hope the earnings optimism holds up, right?
I don't think it's hope. I think you look at their backlog, and I think you look at their customer base, and you listen to Elon Musk and what he's going to do.
Yeah.
They haven't even started, and then at the same time, you've got gross margins that are in the mid 70s, which is really phenomenal. Their free cash flow is going to double next year, and that's why they're financing all these other companies, and they're getting involved, and they're benefiting from investing in some of these other companies. So I think they're really in the sweet spot, and the valuation to me, given the visibility, was just too compelling to ignore.
20 years ago, Advanced Micro Devices waited for the day when Intel was unable to meet demand on its own by selling CPUs into a market that Intel controlled for more than 10 years. When that time came, AMD turned patience into a significant portion of the server processor market. According to Bank of America, AI accelerators are now on the verge of a comparable inflection, but within a more condensed timeframe. On August 4th, the bank increased its long-term earnings projections and reaffirmed its buy recommendation for AMD, claiming the company's true growth narrative has just begun. Although Nvidia leads the AI accelerator market and AMD has a small single-digit share, BofA's entire thesis depends on that gap shrinking more quickly than the price now shows. AMD's earnings power might surpass $30 per share by 2030, which is around 4 times the $7.62 the bank anticipates this year, according to a BofA Global Research study. The entire thesis is that gap. Investors are advised by BofA to cease grading AMD over the next 90 days and to begin pricing in a company that will not resemble its current state by the end of the decade. In keeping with AMD's own 5-year historical trading range, the bank's $620 price target is based on 27 times its 2028 profits estimate. The market is still lagging behind that framing. Despite exceeding Wall Street projections with record second-quarter revenue of $11.5 billion and adjusted earnings of $1.66 per share, AMD's shares dropped as much as 9% the following session, according to CNBC. Although data center revenue more than doubled from the previous year, investors were more concerned about increased capital expenditures associated with new AI technology and flat margin guidance. That response is precisely the type of short-term noise that BofA is advising customers to disregard. According to the bank's statement, evaluating the stock based just on this quarter's margin line is completely incorrect, because AMD's flagship rack-scale AI system, Helios, won't have a significant impact on results until the fourth quarter. Helios is a change in what AMD truly offers. AMD is now packing GPUs, CPUs, and networking hardware into full rack systems instead of selling individual processors and graphics chips as it has done for decades. Nvidia has been using this format for years to sell entire AI computers rather than individual parts. Customers who are prepared to place large bets on that change have joined AMD. In a multi-year arrangement, Meta pledged up to 6 gigawatts of AMD GPU capacity, and OpenAI reached a comparable 6 gigawatt deal. This year, Helios systems will also be deployed by Microsoft and Oracle. The cost of returning to a single vendor system later on increases significantly if a customer builds its infrastructure around Helios racks. Nvidia initially established its own domination thanks to the similar lock-in mechanism. The larger point of contention for BofA is not only AMD's performance, but also overall demand. According to CNBC's earnings coverage, AMD management now projects that the addressable AI compute market will reach approximately $2 trillion by 2028, a significant increase over previous projections, with accelerator chips accounting for $1.4 trillion of the total. Tens of billions of dollars in additional income would result from even a slight rise in AMD's present low single-digit market share. BofA's long-term earnings prediction of 30+ is based on that math. AMD's greatest risk is posed by the same consumers that are fueling its growth. Frontier AI laboratories like OpenAI and Anthropic are still spending a lot of money, and BofA's own report warns that if AI spending ever slows down, revenue visibility may be complicated by reliance on well-funded but unproductive clients. AMD benefits from multi-sourcing only if those clients continue to make purchases at the rate they committed to. These enormous multi-gigawatt contracts could be delayed or renegotiated, exposing AMD if venture capital funding for frontier labs slows down or AI monetization takes longer than anticipated. Since this is AMD's first attempt to launch a fully integrated system rather than individual chips, BofA also highlights execution risk in ramping Helios. Anyone who has observed AMD's gradual ascent against Intel will recognize the trend here, but the fundamental dynamic is different this time. In order to prevent any one chip supplier from controlling pricing or terms of supply, hyperscalers spent years discreetly establishing second-source partnerships. Additionally, Nvidia's order backlog was lengthy enough for customers to diversify regardless of what AMD supplied. Whether it results in the kind of long-term share shift BofA is expecting won't be revealed by either AMD's upcoming quarterly report or Nvidia's earnings later this month. In a year, long after this week's stock fluctuations are forgotten, it will be determined if the racks AMD is currently supplying continue to appear in more data centers. As hyperscalers spend billions on data centers, chips, and power infrastructure without a clear timeline for returns, investor fatigue over AI capital expenditures persists. Wall Street has been waiting for proof that the rise in spending is hurting profitability, free cash flows, and margins. These concerns were heightened by several recent big tech outcomes. I reported on Alphabet, which in Q2 spent $44.9 billion on capital expenditures, surpassing its operational cash flows of $39.1 billion and resulting in a negative $5.9 billion quarterly free cash flow. As I reported, property and equipment spending increased by $66.1 billion, mostly as a result of AI initiatives, while Amazon's trailing 12-month free cash flow swung from an $18.2 billion inflow to a $7.6 billion outflow. However, in recent years, investors have been laughing uncontrollably at AI equities like Nvidia. A $10,000 investment would now be worth nearly $49,000, including about $39,000 in profit, according to reports that Nvidia earned a gain of more than 390% during the previous 3 years. Unexpectedly, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, presented a different perspective, contending that the AI build-out may have considerably more economic ramifications than detractors believe. His remarks, which raised the question of whether AI spending is undermining shareholder value or subtly turning into a significant driver of U.S. growth, essentially redefined the short-term discussion. Dimon is looking past the short-term effects that AI spending has on business cash flows. According to the seasoned banker and CEO of JP Morgan, the AI build-out should be seen as part of a larger investment cycle that is supporting the American economy. According to analysts, Dimon admitted in an interview with CNBC that while his prediction might not come true, the expenditure spike will eventually play out and pay out. The market for data center solutions is expected to expand at a compound yearly growth rate of 20.1% from USD 535.45 billion in 2026 to USD 1.33 trillion by 2031. The demand for high-density computing environments, improved storage, high-speed networking, and next-generation cooling technologies is rising due to increased investment in artificial intelligence, AI, cloud computing, and high-performance computing, HPC infrastructure. As cloud providers and digital platform firms increase capacity for increasingly demanding computing and data processing requirements, a persistent hyperscale investment cycle is sustaining industry expansion. Operators are being forced to update their power and cooling infrastructure through energy-efficient designs, liquid cooling, and intelligent infrastructure management due to sustainability objectives and changing legislation. Long lead times for essential mechanical and electrical equipment, supply chain constraints, and worries about power availability in significant data center hubs continue to impede market growth. Project durations may also be prolonged by permitting requirements, land acquisition, grid connection delays, environmental concerns, and community opposition. The lack of qualified workers and the growing power and infrastructure management requirements brought on by high-density AI workloads are further difficulties. Because AI, machine learning, and HPC workloads produce significantly higher heat loads than typical business applications, liquid cooling is predicted to have the fastest compound annual growth rate, CAGR, in the data center solutions market. Conventional air cooling systems become less effective and energy efficient as rack power densities rise above 30 kilowatt and can reach 60 to 100 kilowatt per rack in AI deployments. The heat removal capacity needed to enable dense computing installations is provided via immersion cooling systems, rear-door heat exchangers, and direct-to-chip cooling. GPU-based AI clusters run by organizations, colocation firms, and hyperscale cloud providers are driving adoption. Additionally, liquid cooling can enhance power usage effectiveness, lower energy consumption connected to cooling, and assist business sustainability goals. High-density infrastructure and AI-ready retrofits are being adopted by operators looking to expand capacity within current buildings, opening up opportunities in cooling, power, networking, and infrastructure services. Through 2031, it is anticipated that demand for liquid cooling will surpass that of conventional cooling methods due to ongoing investment in energy-efficient AI data centers. Due to the need for high availability, operational resilience, and cost-effectiveness, Tier 3 data centers are expected to hold the biggest market share. These facilities are a preferred choice for businesses, cloud service providers, financial institutions, and colocation operators running mission-critical applications because of their N+1 redundancy across power, cooling, and network infrastructure, which allows planned maintenance without disrupting operations. Advanced cooling, intelligent power distribution, backup generators, redundant uninterruptible power supply systems, and data center infrastructure management platforms are frequently implemented in Tier 3 facilities. Their capacity to facilitate scalable growth while preserving operational continuity is in line with the needs of cloud, AI, digital services, and hybrid IT. Because of its advanced digital infrastructure, widespread cloud use, hyperscale investment, and concentration of tech firms and colocation providers, North America leads the world market for data center solutions. In Northern Virginia, Texas, Phoenix, and Kansas, investments are still being made in capacity, power systems, cooling, and communication. Plans for a 600 megawatt hyperscale data center project in Kansas with the potential for long-term growth of up to 2 gigawatts were revealed by Digital Realty in June 2026. The initiative is a reflection of the ongoing need in the U.S. for cloud services, HPC workloads, and AI infrastructure. Throughout the forecast period, Asia-Pacific is expected to grow at the fastest rate. Investment in China, India, Japan, Singapore, and Australia is being driven by digital transformation, enterprise digitalization, cloud adoption, AI installations, 5G expansion, and government assistance. The need for servers, storage, networking, power management, cooling, and automation platforms is rising as renewable energy-powered data centers gain traction. According to reports, Nvidia is evaluating several iterations of its next-generation Rubin Ultra Graphics Processing Unit, GPU, including designs with less high-bandwidth memory, HBM, than initially anticipated, in order to assess strategies for overcoming possible supply limitations. The action is a reflection of wider pressure on the semiconductor industry as the supply of cutting-edge memory chips has been squeezed by the increasing demand for AI. Retail traders are debating whether memory supplier Micron Technology, MU, might become a major winner if HBM shortages continue. At the time of this video, Nvidia shares were up 0.10% in Thursday afternoon trade. According to the information, which cited people with knowledge of the trial, Nvidia has been testing at least 3 iterations of the Rubin Ultra GPU over the past few weeks, some of which had less memory than the firm first disclosed. Because it might not be able to obtain enough sophisticated memory chips to sustain its initial setup, the company is thinking at lower memory solutions. According to the paper, AI organizations running large models on the reduced memory versions could need to install more GPUs than they normally would, even though reducing memory could have an impact on performance. At Nvidia's annual developer conference in 2025, CEO Jensen Huang revealed the Rubin Ultra, stating that each GPU would have 1 TB of HBM4E memory distributed over 16 memory stacks. The reported action by Nvidia demonstrates how the semiconductor industry's capacity to handle the increasing demand for data centers has been pushed by the AI boom. According to the information, the ensuing scarcity of high-bandwidth memory chips has driven up prices, raising expenses throughout the computer sector and compelling businesses to increase their hardware spending. The situation is noteworthy because Nvidia is currently investigating different memory configurations, because the demand for its AI GPUs has contributed to the memory shortage. In comparison to Nvidia's Rubin chip, which is already in mass production and being made available to consumers, the Rubin Ultra samples that are presently being evaluated would have less memory. While message volume stayed high during that time, retail sentiment for Nvidia remained bullish, unchanged over the previous 24 hours. While discussing the ramifications for Nvidia and memory chip vendors, retail traders generally saw the news as proof that the demand for AI infrastructure is exceeding actual supply restrictions. As one of Nvidia's suppliers of high-bandwidth memory for the chipmaker's AI GPUs, Micron entered the conversation. Nvidia's reported testing of lower memory Rubin Ultra GPUs, according to a retail trader, indicates that supply constraints are real, even for the leader in AI chips. The user also mentioned that in order to run huge AI models, additional GPUs could be needed if each chip has less memory. The AI build-out isn't stopping, the trader said in closing. It's simply becoming more difficult. The stated memory reduction, according to another retail dealer, demonstrates the reality of the supply crisis. Although it would enable Nvidia to produce more GPUs, MU is the true winner in this situation because AI infrastructure build-outs encounter physical supply limits. So far this year, Nvidia's stock has increased by around 17%.